Hello everyone, welcome back to the C programming tutorials. These tutorials are brought to you by Zeedup technologies. In the previous video, we have already seen that how can we actually accept the user entry and print it using the printf function. So we have seen the usage of the printf function, the usage of the scanf function, and we have also declared and initialized a variable. In this video, we are going to actually understand that how can we declare a variable and how can we initialize a variable and what are the rules of naming a variable. So first of all, this is our code from the previous program or the previous video itself, in which we declared a variable known as age. Now the one question that must come to your mind is why I have taken age and why not like 45 age. So 45 age is an invalid variable name in C. There are some rules according to which you can actually name your variables in C. You cannot name your variable that is starting with a number. That is the first rule. The second rule is that there cannot be any space between the variables. Suppose you want to change the variable name as my age. So you put a space. So this is not valid. Instead of using the space, you can use a special symbol known as underscore. So my underscore age is a valid variable name in C, but my space age is invalid. The third rule is that you cannot use any of these special characters in variable name except the underscore. Like if you just want to write my asterisk age or my parenthesis asterisk age, then it is an invalid variable name. So if you need to include multiple words in a variable name, then you can simply use an underscore. Another rule is that you cannot use any kind of keywords in variable name. Suppose we know that int is a keyword because it is used to specify that the variable that we are going to declare is of data type integer. So we cannot declare the variable name as int. It is going to be invalid. You cannot write int. You have to write something that is not already understood by the C compiler, a new name. And by convention, this is not a hard and fast rule, but by convention, you are supposed to give the variable name that is relevant to the fact. Right? Like over here, I'm accepting age. So I have given the variable name as age. In case you are accepting your name, you have to give your name. Name. In case you are accepting like first name, so you can give f name or whole first name. And another convention is using a camel case convention. This convention works like this. Suppose you want to write first name. So this is a camel case convention in which the first name or the first letter is going to be small and all the corresponding letters or all the new words are going to commence with a capital letter. This is a camel case convention, which is the most widely used convention in any programming language. So let us just work with age right now. Okay. Now this was about naming the variables. Then there are these different data types. There is not only integer, but there are different data types whose variables can be created in C. So for that, what we are going to do is we do not need this piece of code. So we can actually comment our code. What is commenting? Commenting is a convention through which whichever code you have written and you do not need it anymore, or you want to write something to make sure that it is not understood by the compiler, you can write it in the comments. Like I have written this code previously, but now in this program I do not need it. So what I can do is I can just select these 3 lines which I do not need. I can go to this edit tab and here is this comment option. I can comment it using this option, or I can use this shortcut Ctrl+Shift+C. If I just press it, then you can see these 3 lines have turned gray, which means now the compiler would not go onto these 3 lines and these would be skipped from compilation. This is one use of comment, that is to make sure that this unused code or unwanted code is not read by the compiler or not compiled by the compiler. Another usage is, suppose you want to make sure that the user understands something. Like here we have header files, so you want to make sure that whoever is reading your code gets to know that these are actually header files. So you can add a comment for yourself. What you can do is simply write 2 double slashes and then you can write whatever you want, header files, like this. Okay, and then again, suppose you want to include this comment over here as well. So what you can do is you can again use double slashes and write header files, or what you can do is use multi-line comments. These double slashes denote something that is known as a single line comment, that is only in a single line these comments will go. Like if you write anything over here, so it is not a part of the comment. But what if you want your comment to go through multiple lines, then you can use multi-line comments. Now how can they be used? Suppose, let's just clear up this, and here I want to include that like this is part of a comment in C. So this is a multi-line comment which is starting with a slash and an asterisk and is ending with a asterisk and a slash. Now whenever you are encountering this symbol, everything after it will become a comment. If we just remove that symbol, then everything has become a comment right now. To make sure that we are ending our comment, we have to write an asterisk and a slash again, so that now this is the place where our comment ends. Okay, now this was about comments. These are multi-line comments and this is a single line comments. Now there is another thing. If you want to remove something from a comment, this is for the IDE specific purpose only. If you want to uncomment your code, what you can do is either you can just remove these two symbols and this comment would be removed out of comment, or what you can do is you can just select all the lines. If there are a bunch of lines whose comments you want to remove, you can just go to edit and then there is this option of uncomment or the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+X. You can just click on it and all these lines have been removed from comment. Now we are just going to comment it again like this. Okay, so I have used the shortcut Ctrl+Shift+C to comment it. Now what do we have over here is an integer variable, and we can use the different variables. I'm going to show you the different data types that are available in C. So this is the code for the different data types. Let me just explain this code. First of all is age, so let us just initialize age to say 20. Then we have float. So float, as we can see, is used to store decimal values. Like you can see 10.04 is what we have stored over here. So it is a decimal value which accepts decimal values up to 2 digits, like 0.04 is perfectly fine. But if you are writing a very much larger value, then it would truncate it to 2 decimal places, right? Then the third variable type we have is a character. It can accept any of the characters that are available in the ASCII table. ASCII table stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. It is a table that accepts all the characters in the word ranging from small a to small z, capital A to capital Z, all the numbers and all the special characters as well. So all these characters are actually valid characters and can be included in this character data type in C. Right now I have written Z, but you can write anything. Suppose capital Z is also perfectly fine. And whatever thing you are writing over here, if it is a character, then you need to include it in single quotes like this. Okay, otherwise it would not be treated as a character and would result in an error. The last data type that we have is known as double. It is nothing but an extension of float variable. It is also used to store the decimal points, but the difference is it can accept many places. Like as you can see, I have written these much of decimal digits after this point instead of float. So float has a limited capacity of accepting only 2 digits after the decimal, but double can accept many digits. Okay. Now what I have done is I have actually initialized this variables. Initialization is passing the value to a variable at the time it is declared. Whenever we are writing any kind of data type and providing the variable with a name, then this variable is said to be declared. And whenever we are passing any value to a variable using this assignment operator, we are saying that we are initializing that variable, or we are providing a value to that variable. After initialization, we got to use these variables, so we are going to just print their values. First of all, we have printed this integer variable, that is integer, and then with mod d, because we know that mod d is used to print the value of an integer variable, and we have passed age because it is an integer variable, right? Then we can write like \n. This will make sure that after printing this line integer colon and the value of integer, that is 20, there would be a next line, and in the next line this float variable would be printed, or this value would be printed. So \n is actually used to skip a line. Then the next we have is float. So mod g or %g is what you use to print a float value, and then you can use \n again. Then we have a character value. For character value, what you need to do is you need to use a mod c placeholder or a mod c value. This would make sure that you are printing a character. Then you can again skip the line, and then there is double float. So for that, mod f is used. Now let us build this project and then try to run it. So you can see we have got our output over here. If you just compare it with the values, integer this much, float this much, character and double float, and now you can see they are all in different lines, which means that \n has done its work. So that's how you can actually work with the different data types in C, and that's all for this video.